Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make these little stars. They can be used as Christmas tree decorations. You could put a few of them together and make a garland. They can be made in lots of different colours and they're a really versatile little and very quick make. I made stars in the colours to match my Christmas tree this year, but I've also made some out of this sparkly yarn. I don't know if it shows up very well, but this is a yarn, it's actually just Mariner's Sparkle DK, and that gives quite a nice little added sparkle to it. I'm using DK acrylic for this, but it would also work in Aran or Chunky. It would just make your stars a little bit bigger. With DK acrylic, I'm going to use a 5mm crochet hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. So take the end of your yarn and you're going to create a slip knot. Now I have got videos to show you how to create a slip knot, but just as a reminder, drape it over your finger and back round, grip it with your other fingers, back over your finger again, and then pull the second one over the first loop, and that will create a slip knot. Once you've got your slip knot, you're going to chain 5. So that's just yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 5. So I've got 5 loops on my hook. I'm now going to put my hook into the very first chain that I made. I'm then going to yarn over and pull through that chain and the loop on the hook. That's called a slip stitch. I've now made a little circle. You do need to be careful that you actually pull your circle apart so you work into the middle of your circle rather than into that join that you've just made with your slip stitch. First of all, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to make little clusters. So I'm going to yarn over as if I were doing a UK treble. So I yarn over, that's a US double. I yarn over once, I put my hook right into the middle of that circle, I yarn over and pull through. I've got 3 loops on my hook. I'm now going to yarn over and pull through 2, but I'm not going to do the end of that stitch. I'm going to leave those last 2 loops on the hook and I'm going to carry on. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to yarn over, go into the middle of the circle, yarn over and pull through. I've now got 4 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and I've got 3 loops on my hook. This is slightly different for the first one because we had to start with a chain, but the chain does count as the first part of this cluster. So 1, 2, 3. I'll then yarn over and pull through all 3 of them to close it off. That is one cluster of stitches. I'm then going to chain 2, 1, 2. And I'm going to do another cluster again, but this time I won't have a chain 3 because I've already started. I don't need to chain again. I will just start my treble. So yarn over into the centre circle, yarn over, pull through. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2. I've now got 2 loops on my hook this time. That's my first one of the cluster. Yarn over into the centre circle, yarn over, pull through. I've got 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull off 2. I've now got 3 loops on my hook, but this time I've only got 2 parts of the cluster, so I'm going to go once more. So yarn over into the centre, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Sorry, I've just split that one. That's it. My yarn just split as I did that. And now you've got 4 loops on your hook. So yarn over and pull through all of those 4. I've now got 2 clusters. I'm going to continue this, so chain 2, 1, 2, that's my gap between the clusters, and then create another cluster by yarning over, go through the middle circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and again, and once more, so that I've got 3 trebles that weren't completed, yarn over, pull through all 4 of those loops, and that's my 3rd cluster. Chain 2 between the clusters and complete another set of clusters. 1, 2, 3, and that's my 4th cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 2, and I'm going to complete another set of clusters. So to do my final cluster, yarn over into the centre circle, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and continue that until you've got your 3 clustered trebles. You've got 4 loops on your hook, so yarn over, pull through all 4. Then going to chain 2 as my final gap between the last 2 clusters, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the cluster. Now if you can see, this is a slightly longer stitch is what it looks like here. It's the very top of the cluster. So I'm just going to put my hook in the top of the cluster there, yarn over, and pull the yarn through, and then pull it through the loop on the hook as well. So I'm working into the top of this cluster stitch now. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as my first treble. I'm going to do 2 more trebles into the same space, the top of this cluster stitch. These trebles are a UK term. In the US, they're known as double crochet. So that's 3 trebles. I'm then going to chain 1, and I'm going to do another 3 trebles into that same space. So all of these have gone into that same space, the top of that cluster. So 1, 2, 3. All of those stitches, including the chain 1, all into the top of that cluster. I'm then going to chain 3. Now I'm going to work the same type of stitches into the top of the next cluster. So again, if you turn it sideways, you can see it's the one with the slightly longer stitch, that one there. So yarn over, put your hook in that top of the cluster, yarn over, pull through, and complete a treble crochet. Do 2 more treble crochets into the same spot. Do a chain 1 and another 3 trebles into that same spot. Now you will notice that this is starting to sort of ruffle up a little bit, and it will do. It will flatten out in the last round that we're going to do, but it will sort of ruffle up and not look like it fits, but I promise you it will when we get there. So another chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Find the top of the next cluster. So again, if you turn it sideways, it's that slightly longer stitch there. That's where we're going, into that one. So yarn over into the top of that cluster, yarn over, pull through, complete your treble crochet and 2 more trebles. Do your chain 1 and then pop another 3 more trebles into that same space. 1, 2, 3. So you can see it is ruffling up quite a lot now. That's fine. It will work out, I promise. So you're going to chain 3 and do the same again into the top of the next cluster. 3 trebles, chain 1, 3 trebles, chain 3 and do the same in the top of the last cluster. I'll meet you back once you've done that. So you should have finished your 5th set, and as I say, it does sort of ruffle up. It's not flat, it doesn't stretch out at the moment, it is quite ruffly. So you finished your last little set, chain your 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 that we did at the start. So I'm just going to put my hook into the top of that chain 3. Can't find the side. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop on the hook as well. And that's your slip stitch to connect it. So we're on to the last round. We want to get to that chain 1 space there. What I like to do is 2 slip stitches to get there rather than just 1. I think otherwise it bunches up a little bit. So I do a slip stitch in the next stitch along, or middle one. Works if you just do a slip stitch in the middle one, and then another slip stitch into the chain 1 space. So I'm just doing slip stitches along just to get into the place that I want to get to start from. So I'm in that chain 1 space. We're actually going to work our stitches into this larger chain 3 space here, but we will always do a slip stitch into the chain 1. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to put 3 trebles into this space here, the chain 3 space. So yarn over, put your hook into that gap, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. You'll notice that this hook sits, this loop sits quite far down your hook, but don't worry about it, doesn't matter. Yarn over and pull through both of those 2. That's your first treble. Do it again. And a third treble, so yarn over into the space, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So I've got 1, 2, 3 trebles in this chain 3 space. I'm then going to chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and do another 3 trebles into that same chain 3 space. This is the first point of one of my stars. Now to get it a nice point, we actually need to slip stitch into that chain 1 space. That's the little space. So you're just going to put your hook into that chain 1 space, yarn over and pull through, and then pull your hook through your loop on your hook. Okay? And again, we're then going to move around and we're going to work into this big chain 3 space again. So yarn over, put a treble, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again another treble and a third treble, chain 3, and another 3 trebles, all into that same space. My yarn's very taut, it keeps slipping off the hook. That's your second point, and you're going to slip stitch into that little chain 1 space. So into the chain 1 space, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. You're going to continue round in this way, so into the next chain space, 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles, slip stitch into the chain 1 and continue until you get back round to the beginning. You can see I've finished all the points of my stars, and just to finish off this last one I need to slip stitch back into the last chain 1 space, which is where we started, and then I always do a chain 1 to finish off. Now before you cut your yarn, you can do a hanging loop out of just chains. You can leave enough so that you can use the end of this. That's what I intend to do with these ones, is actually use the end of these as my hanging loop to hang it on the tree. Depends what you're going to be using it for, really. But do your chain 1 and then just snip off your yarn. Pull it through, pull it nice and tight, and then that is finished. You can block it. There's lots of inexpensive ways of blocking your work. I've seen people just pin it to one of those kids' foam boards. That's quite a handy one to do. Spray it with water. Or you can pin it to a dining chair or a sofa arm. There's lots of inexpensive ways of being able to block it, but that just means laying out your piece, pinning it with just normal sewing pins, and then spraying it with a little bit of water, leaving it to dry, and it should be nice and well shaped. So have a little go at making your own stars and hope you can decorate your Christmas tree or something with that this year. Enjoy!